Ooh. Oh no! Oh. Fixing a split sidewall may not be a quick repair, but it's definitely a doable one. And I'm going to show you 3 ways in which you can do it. And if you're out on the trail right now, good luck, and do subscribe if you want to see more hacks like this in the future. If this sort of thing is common for you, then it might be time to consider some tyre inserts. So I've got the Vittoria foam tyre inserts in here, and you can actually ride the rest of the trail or even back home on these things with completely no air in the tyres whatsoever. So I've taken the whole tyre off here as I've got time and it's just easier to handle. But if you're in a hurry, you only need to pop one side of the bead off to do this. Now, hack number 1 is if you have been using inner tubes or you take your tyre off and you realise that your sealant's all pretty dry, then that means we can use something sticky on the inside of the tyre to create a seal over that hole, and then we're going to put an inner tube in. So what I recommend is if you have a tyre boot like this, then this will actually peel off and then you can stick it to the inside of the tyre to create a barrier for your inner tube to go in. Now, if you don't have a boot like this, then I always carry gaffer tape or something sticky on my pump. So I know if I get a serious puncture, then I can just peel this off and stick it to the inside of my tyre, like so. Actually, this comes in really handy if you ever have any tears in your waterproofs as well. Number 2 is for anyone who's taken their tyre off or opened up one side and found that the sealant is still quite wet and there's no chance of anything sticking to the inside, or you didn't bring a tyre boot like I did. What you can do is you can get some rubbish. I find a gel, preferably without the gel in it, eat it, and then the gel wrapper is actually a really good boot that just creates a barrier between your inner tube and the hole in your tyre. Just stops the inner tube from poking out of the hole. Or if you've done what I've done and put some gaffer tape on your pump, then you can tear off a really big piece, bigger than you need, maybe all of it, as I'm going to do here. And then you just want to fold it on itself so that there's no sticky bits. And then that will create a nice piece of rubbish, or a nice malleable barrier for your hole. And then you're going to have to be really careful to put your inner tube in and make sure there's some air in the inner tube so that it holds the boot in place over the split, and then the pressure of your inner tube should hold it in place when you're off on your ride. My 3rd method is for anyone who doesn't have a boot or any kind of rubbish that they can use to blockade this hole from the inside in order to put your inner tube in. So what you're going to need is anything that's going to strap it from the outside. So I always like to carry my spare inner tube in a Velcro strap because I've actually used this Velcro strap to get a friend with a split sidewall to the end of their ride in the middle of Scotland before. It'll create a dead point on your tread, but it'll still get you home. The alternative is to use cable ties or something similar that you can literally create a barrier from the outside to stop the split from getting any bigger. And your aim here is literally just so that this hole doesn't puncture the inner tube that you're putting in. With this method, it's best to try and fit between the tread if you can, and try and work the cable tie so that it stays rim side inwards if you don't have any cable cutters. That way this will just stay where your spokes are. And also start with a little bit of air pressure in your inner tube so that you can create a seal and it's a little bit malleable so that you can get your cable tie there and then pump it up after it's created a good seal. Well, hopefully you're back on your way onto the trail and you fixed your sidewall split. But this is a reminder, if you're not out on the trail fixing something, a reminder that a Velcro strap and some cable ties are so super useful, especially carrying your spare inner tube. You should always carry a spare inner tube, even if you're tubeless. And don't forget a tyre boot, some tyre levers if you can, and a spare energy gel won't go amiss for a spare boot or just a little bit of energy if you need it as you're going along. But anyway, hey, if you've got any tips that I've missed out, let me know down in the comments below. And if you're out on the trail fixing something, let me know how it went. Thanks for stopping by.